Abongile Dumako is there. Let's listen into what's taking place.
Who also sometimes stands in as the MEC for education in Gauteng, as well as the whole members, all members of the PEC that are here. You were with us since in the morning. Memorakani, Bondate, Letswalo, Novan. Ki rata ho acknowledge also the regional secretary and Date Bonzo Mdise le bao ileng hore o na le bona ba ANC. Ka jeno re baeng ba batjha. We are guests of the revolutionary young lions of the African National Congress, and therefore I want to acknowledge the leadership of the NYTT, the ANC Youth League National Task Team, Mayor or Mama, okay. Nongeba Muaudi, Kelebohe Kapele Bailum Huruna Lebona, Kelebohe the presence ya NYTA, Kelebohe the presence ya the Young Communist League, Kelebohe the presence ya COSAS. Long live the Revolutionary Alliance, long live. Long live. Manzo aka azabanchi. Manzo aka kyoguri. Kalushi, Solomon Mahlangu refused to die in the hands of his captors. He refused that they capture his spirit. And that is why he said to his mother, "Mommy, don't cry. My blood will water the tree of freedom." So today we celebrate the tree of freedom that was watered by the blood of Solomon Kalushi Mahlangu. We were young people when he was executed. We pleaded mercy from the merciless apartheid regime. We were young people also when the others alongside him, Umkhonto and others, were executed. But we knew that their death was not in vain. So rena kaofela ba ile gore re lokologile ka jeno. Re gopole gore freedom ya rona was not free. Re ska ilebella go tlase, re ska tshameka ka yona. Le rona a se fela batjha ba ile gore sometimes ba lebala gore our freedom was not free. Le rona ba bang ba bagolo sometimes ra lebala gore our freedom was not free. Re gopotsaneng re le setšhaba, so that we dare not forget the spirit of those that fought and paid the ultimate price for freedom still lives on. It is also important today that the youth must determine what their mission is today. The mission Solomon Mahlangu was to free South Africa. That mission has been completed. The mission Yabacha today is to build this country, is to ensure that there is economic justice, to ensure that our economy grows, to ensure that we acquire skills and expertise to work the country. We must remember that if we have land that is fertile and we have seeds, nobody will come and plant the seeds for us and harvest on our behalf. We must be prepared to plant the seed, to water the seed until we harvest the food. We must be as disciplined and as determined to work our land. Yes, we must support also land distribution. We must be prepared to start businesses through hard work, through sweat. Yes, government DFIs must be able to fund the various initiatives. And we want to thank the NYDA for having invested in the education of young people in the name of Solomon Mahlangu Education Fund. but also they continue to fund businesses of young people. But it is not yet uhuru. It is important for young people to be conscientious, revolutionary understanding of our current situation, what we call material conditions that we are facing, so that as we define our problems, we are also able to understand how we can deal with them. The unemployed amongst our young people means that our economy is not responsive to the skills that we have. We call on higher education institutions to bridge the gap between the skills acquired and the demands of the economy. And that is why President Ramaphosa, during the State of the Nation address, echoed what we have agreed to as the ANC in the January Lekgotla, that we need a social dialogue, we need a social compact, so that all of us work towards making sure that the child of South Africa, that they get hope and the programs of government are effective. Especially Department of Education, unemployed, educated youth, Yabadira, the teacher assistants. Rekupela hore, program is kafela, the Disaster Act Leona ya fela ke. A program is olepi. Many schools, more affluent areas, they have those programs where the teacher focuses on the content and the teacher assistant focuses on the other needs of the learner. It is also important that we also look at the other programs that government is coming up with, so that how do we benefit, how do we put our energies behind that. There is a program called the District Development Model. As there are 52 steps towards the gallows that Solomon Mahlangu walked up to, there are 52 districts in our country. And each district is endowed with wealth, with minerals, with land. So we call on each and every district to establish youth structures that will be able to beneficiate the minerals that are there, that will be able to do agro-processing. If you have like maybe tomatoes, let those tomatoes leave your area as tomato sauce, so that you can have factories for glass that will put the tomato sauce in, for the glass bottle that you can also have factories to create the tomato sauce itself. We need to make sure that we use our hands, we use our intellect, the education that we have advanced in, to ensure that the future of the African child is as bright as Solomon Mahlangu wanted it to be. It is as bright as Solomon Mahlangu died for. This is the time to turn around. As African National Congress this year, there are two programs of priority. The first is that of a renewal of the organization and unity. The second one is that of a radical socio-economic transformation in all the 52 districts in our country. So, Reina mo Tshwane mo, le mo di tropong tse dingwe, the other districts in Gauteng, we must say we are closer to the spirits of Solomon Mahlangu and many others, and also lead in ensuring that the youth are at the forefront of the renewal of the African National Congress and the revolutionary movement and alliance, as well as the radical socio-economic transformation. We know that if you are given a task, ya gore o reka grocery, rice, nama, meleke, le cheese, wa tsia tšhelete, wa re before o fitlha ko shopong, wa tsia tšhelete wa yo tshameka diketo ka yona, or wa yo tshameka dikarata ka yona, or wa e berekisa ka mokgwa o e leng gore it was not entrusted to you for, you will never be able to come back home with the grocery that you were sent for. So ba e leng gore ba romeletswe, especially in government, with the resources of the state to make sure that the lives of our people improve, and we find their hands in the kitty jar, they must face the cruelest punishment that we can ever meet against them. And within the ANC, we must actually work towards expelling those that steal from the poor. China, in the 1970s, were at the same level as South Africa in terms of development. At the moment, they are far ahead. They are now one of the superpowers. So if South Africa and Africa needs or want and wish and has to be at the level of China, which it can, with the minerals and other wealth, natural wealth it has, it can even supersede China. But if Africa wants to do that, and South Africa being part of it, we need to be disciplined, we need to be honest, and we need to hold one another accountable. The resources are there, but you must access them honestly through the contract that you get honestly. And in this area, we also call on government to make sure that the procurement budget benefits the majority of the people of South Africa. We are aware that there are organizations like the Solidarity and the AfriForums and all that. Yes, that want to make sure that the economy remains in the hands of whites. We must have also our own forums rising up. The kereke tsa rena a civic action. They defend these progressive laws, because these progressive laws are not to benefit those in government, but to benefit all of us. So we need to defend the gains of our democracy. And indeed, the broad-based black economic empowerment is a legal and constitutional law. Without political freedom, without economic freedom, so we need to stand up ourselves. But also, amongst us, we have over R1 trillion of an economy amongst us, in townships and in other areas. So we must also learn to buy from one another. Are reking fashion ya tlale le ba bang a ke tsore mo mamelodi ke bo mang are reking di fashion tsa bona di labels tsa bona re tlogela go shena ka di fashion le di labels tsa other countries, because that's where the money goes to hire people in those countries. So buying local must be a way of life. The economic freedom that Solomon Mahlangu le ba bang ba ilwetseng e kgona gore re fitlhelle. As we are going through the regional and also provincial and preparing for national conferences, both the policy conference and the national, the 55th national conference, let us be as disciplined, as revolutionary conscience as Solomon Mahlangu and many others. Let us know that the ANC has got more leaders than the oppositions. And those that go into leadership must be servant leaders, must be selfless, and must also be held accountable for the responsibility they are given. But there is no way that we can all be in those leadership positions. So whatever group you are in, whether it's think tank or a lobby group, let it not be a faction. We must move away from glibly using this word faction, because the definition of a faction is a group within an organization that has lost interest on the survival of the organization, but on its narrow interest. So we must move away from this word, using it lightly, anyone that says I'm a member of a faction must face disciplinary action. Because you are saying that my group wants to African National Congress. We have seen how factions have really destroyed the organization and thus our performance in local government elections. We lost this city, Tshwane, to minority parties. They didn't win. We handed over because we fought so much amongst ourselves. If we continue fighting, 2024, this whole country will be in the hands of our erstwhile oppressors, those that killed Solomon Kalushi Mahlangu. So in his honor and in the honor of all those who died for this freedom, the African National Congress members and members of all the alliance structures, because we are all going to conferences, we are busy with conferences, including the leagues, we must remember that this freedom was not free. We must respect it. With those words, comrades, let's continue to support the family. When I was mayor here, Umama Mahlangu discussed the house with me and her wish to preserve the work of Solomon Mahlangu there. We handed the house keys to the Department of Arts and Culture. We must not rest. I want to agree with the convener of the NYTT that we must not rest between this year and the 6th of April 2023 until that house is declared a heritage site, until the gallows where Solomon Mahlangu and many others died is declared a heritage site. Let it be our day-to-day program. Let's not say it only here and get busy with others. We must establish a special task team that will work on this matter until it is delivered. Long live the spirit of Kalushi, Solomon Mahlangu, long live. Long live the spirit of Kalushi, Solomon Mahlangu, long live. Hoya Runa, Hoya Runa, Hoya Runa, Hoya Runa, Hoya Runa, Hoya Runa. Even the boy bacheche, bacheche, bacheche le moraho, Hoya Runa bapelozeta amandla. Comrades, the young people that are here, we have fulfilled the mission of our generation as young people. You must be impatient with the problems that are there, that are affecting you now, that are affecting our society, and that are affecting your future as you build it, including the future of your generation. It is okay to feel impatient. If you don't feel impatient, we will wonder what type of youth you are. It's like if mwana akhula hasa khase adusi fela re rwalwala hali an infant asamathi ashiana what's wrong. So we need that energy, we need that revolutionary spirit to ensure that this phase of economic development, economic transformation happens. So you must not be apologetic. Just don't be insulting. But not that you have been today. We accept the challenges that you have put before us. You must be intolerant of lack of performance. You must be intolerant of infightings. You must be intolerant of the continued problems that face our country. So please don't feel that you are constrained. Forge ahead in the spirit of Kalushi Mahlangu, in the spirit of Krizani, in his youth, in the spirit of Owar Tambo, in his youth, in the spirit of Charlotte Maxeke, who tomorrow we are also celebrating, in her youth, in the spirit of Nelson Mandela, in his youth, in the spirit of all those that were before you, in their youth, they made history. Make the history for social economic transformation. Amandla.
We come out of the ANC wreath-laying memorial ceremony in Tshwane.